Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. I'm your host, Mitchell Gunner with Alexa Gatlin, but first we're going to talk about the 352 shootout that is coming up on October the 29th at Gainesville Raceway. Going to have a lot of events going on. There's going to be a car show, plenty of drag racing classes, and also something that's new, the no time truck class. These trucks run about 200 miles an hour in the 8th mile. Also, we want to talk about a little bit about our sponsors real quick. We have Miracle Automotive and Towing and Stark. Hey, don't pray for a miracle. Pick up that phone and call Miracle Automotive and Towing at 904-368-1114. Hey, and they just got in a new machine and they can do four-wheel alignments. Also, don't forget on-the-spot lawn maintenance, your full-service lawn care for you. Give them a call at 904-966-1633. Tonight, we've got some great guests that are going to be joining us. We have Josette Roach and Elaine Larson. Both of them drive jet dragsters. And I tell you what, it's going to be a great show, Alexa.
Oh yes, I've watched them many times when it comes to Cletus and car events and Night of Fire at Orlando.
I'll tell you what, and they got an event. They got an event coming up real soon, and then we're going to talk about that as well. But without further ado, let's bring them on. How y'all doing today?
I'm doing great, Josette. How are you doing? I feel like I just saw you at work.
Hey, it's not work if it's something that you love, right?
I think, Josette, you're muted.
Yeah, I can't hear you.
Josette, we must hear what you have to say. No, it isn't work if you love what you're doing, but let me just tell you something. Josette and I have a good time at work every single day, don't we, girl? Don't you?
It wasn't just me having issues.
I feel like we got you now. Right now, she's panicking.
I tell you what, we're going to give her a little bit of time to get those technical difficulties figured out. I know everything was working fine there for a while.
You hear me?
Oh, I think we got you.
Yay!
There you go. All right. So tonight we're going to talk a little bit about y'all driving these fast jet-powered dragsters down the track.
Yep,
And
lots of fun.
one of the things that we do first, we let each one of our guests pretty much introduce themselves before we get started with the questioning. So, Miss Larson, if you want to go first.
Oh, for sure. So I'm Elaine Larson. I've been driving jet cars for 2 decades. Cut my teeth at Gainesville Raceway, where I saw some of the first jet cars, Franny Pepler, at the Super Chevy event. Thought it was so darn cool, and I thought I need a piece of that. My husband and I decided to build the ultimate jet racing team and brought my girl Josette on board. I won 2 world championships, but probably the thing I'm most proud of is helping the new generation kind of help achieve their dreams, like my girl Josette. So that's it, Josette. Bam, it's on you.
All right, well, I'm Josette Roach. I'm the driver of the House of Color Jet Dragster, and this is my first year as primary driver of the House Colored car. And I'm just super excited to be out here and ready for this opportunity. I started in junior dragsters and worked my way faster and faster, faster cars, and now I get to drive the jet for Larson Motorsports. Yeah.
Well, I know you have to be a very smart person to be able to get behind the wheel of those jet dragsters. So can y'all tell me a little bit and our viewers about y'all's education?
Well, for me, I actually was going to school when I met Larson Motorsports, a little university in Orlando, and I went to the Gator Nationals. Sorry, I'm echoing, and it's distracting me. Big time.
So in the meantime, I grew up in the school of hard knocks. I have an associate's degree, but pretty much I live life in the fast lane. Every time I go down the quarter mile, I learn something new. So that's what I learned. But my degree's in business administration and business management. So that's what I kind of focus on is the business of motorsports. And that's what's kind of held me really close. Josette's learned along the way. She does everything from Adobe Photoshop to Premiere Pro. But what she's really cut her teeth on now is helping me with blazing trails and grant opportunities. You got it now, Josette?
I mean, I don't know. I'm gonna. Can you hear me if I talk like this?
Yes.
Okay, so I'm just gonna mute myself while I talk, and then that way it doesn't distract me. Okay, so I started. Where was I? We were talking about education. Okay, so I met Larson Motorsports when I was going to college. So I was pursuing a degree in biomedical sciences, and the reason I wanted to do that was because I wanted to be a doctor, and I wanted to be a doctor so I could make lots of money, so I could go racing. And when I went to Gator Nationals the one year, I think I was in my third year of school, and I met Elaine Larson. Tony Schumacher actually introduced us and said, "Hey, do you want to drive one of those cars over there?" And I was like, "Yeah, I want to drive one. Don't really know what it is, but yeah, anything, I'll drive it." And so he introduced me to Elaine, and I found out that she was an hour from where I was going to school, 2 hours from my parents' house. So I just started driving over, and the rest kind of just all fell together. The first time I went to the shop, me and Elaine had like a 4-hour conversation, and when I left, I knew that that was not going to be the last that they saw of me. They were going to keep seeing me over and over again until I got what I wanted, which was ultimately getting the opportunity to drive a jet car, and especially having it be the House of Color jet car. A lot of people that don't know me or know a little bit about me don't know what it means for me to drive the House of Color car, because I've grown up in the paint industry. My dad has worked on so many cars over the years and built so many cars. My brother actually has his own paint shop now, and now my sister's learning how to paint. And I've even not painted, but had to do the body work and stuff because you got to help Dad's business out. So it means a lot to have a company that I've seen my whole life, and I love the smell of paint. So it's good to be with this company.
Alexa, you got a question?
Yes. So I know you started out in junior dragsters. Did you ever think that you would one day be driving a jet dragster, which is exactly the opposite?
I don't know if I ever thought of what I would drive when I started getting faster. I did start in the junior, and I knew that the junior days would end at some point, and that's when me and my dad built a Mustang together, and I was actually racing against Mitchell for a couple of years. I'm sure he's glad that I'm not in that class anymore. We would line up against each other on purpose a lot, as a joke, but yeah, who does that, But it was a lot of fun those days. And then we ended up getting a dragster, a rear-engine dragster, and we built that. And I raced that a couple more years. And when an opportunity literally comes into your face sometimes, you can't let it go. And I knew that from the moment I got in that junior dragster the first time, which wasn't my junior dragster, but the moment that I sat in that car and took it down the track for the first time, I knew I was never going to get out of the car. I knew I was going to just keep making passes down the track for ultimately, hopefully, the rest of my life, And so I knew that I wanted to make a career out of it. I just didn't know how, and I didn't think that it would ever really be a realistic opportunity for me.
This question's for both of y'all. Who was y'all's heroes? Who did y'all look up to? And it doesn't have to be drag racers. It could be anybody. Who was that gave you a good impression on y'all?
For me, mine's real easy. It was Janet Guthrie. She is one of the first ladies in motorsports. I loved her whole premise is that she did it all. She worked on her cars, she built her cars, she drove her cars, and she cut her teeth so that ladies like Josette and I can get out there and do it. Obviously, also Shirley Muldowney, that's just a given. Josette and I are going to get an opportunity to see her, and I know Josette, I've met her a couple times, but I think this will be the first time that you'll get to meet her face to face at Martin in US 131 for the Northern Nationals. But personally, it's always been my dad. I'm a daddy's girl. He taught me with hard work and perseverance, anything can happen. And that's where I am today. So Janet Guthrie, Shirley Muldowney, and my good old pops.
For me, my heroes, there's several, because everything that's happened to get me to this point, two of my heroes are my parents, because they've created me, literally. They also have made me the way I am. My dad and mom really instilled hard work in me. The world isn't going to give you anything. You have to go out there. You have to work hard. It's going to be blood, sweat, and tears, but it's going to be all worth it. My mom and my dad also have made it to where I was really independent, me and all my siblings, and we were self-sufficient growing up. So that way, if mom and dad needed to go have a date night, we could take care of ourselves, whether it's cooking for ourselves or whatever it might be. So really them, they made me who I am, and I'm so proud to have them as my parents. And then, of course, Elaine, because, she's amazing. She's my mentor through all of this. Even today, she was like, "You got this. I'm here for you." And what better way to say, "I'm here for you too. You want to come on it?" And she only had 5 minutes to log on to be on the podcast and had no idea. So she's awesome, and I hope that I become like half of the racer that she is and half the woman she is.
Hey, we got some questions real quick, and y'all probably know this gentleman, Chris Larson.
He's in the other room.
He's basically asking you, where do you hope to be, in 10 years, and what is your ultimate goal in motorsports, and what is your ultimate goal?
Mine's easy. I'm going to be retired. My ultimate goal is to really give more opportunities for girls like Josette, to be able to help their dreams come true. It's been great being in the driver's seat, but I'm ready to take a step back, and I'm ready to give this next generation an opportunity to show me what they got. When I tell this girl, I said, fist up, get out there, show me what you got, that's it. So my ultimate goal in motorsports is just to help more of the next generation drivers, crew chief, builders, engineers, anything that I can do to help further the sport of drag racing, because it's what I love.
So for me, I forgot the question.
What is your...
Oh, yeah.
Where do you hope to be in 10 years? What's your ultimate goal in motorsports, and what is your ultimate goal pretty much overall?
Chris asked way too many questions at one time, but I got it. Okay, so my ultimate goal in 10 years, well, that will be my 21st year of drag racing. That's a crazy thing to think about. And I hope that I've accomplished, really the craft of jet racing, because I am still new and this is my first year as primary driver of the House of Color car. I want to make sure, I'm perfect every time by then. And really, the ultimate goal is to one day own Larson Motorsports, potentially, Lane. I don't know. And I just want to kind of, never leave motorsports, drag racing, and Larson Motorsports. I mean, the reason why I fell in love with Larson Motorsports is because it's a family. Mitchell can tell you, when we would go to bracket racing, we would have 30, 40 people just for our little team. And then outside of that, everyone that shows up there, Alexa can tell you too, we're all just there for each other. If Mitchell's car broke down or I need help with something, we're all coming over to each other, to help each other out. And that's exactly what it's like with Larson Motorsports. We're a littler team, but we're all looking to help each other out. I'm sure more than just Chris Larson's watching right now. I saw Logan had a comment, and I'm sure the rest of the team's watching too. So that's why I really love being on this team, and I wouldn't have it any other way.
One of the things I wanted to touch base on is something that's very important, and that is your PPE, the type of equipment that y'all wear. Is it somewhat similar to what drivers have to wear while racing funny car or top fuel, or is it a little above that?
So it's actually exactly like what top fuel drivers wear. Our fire suits are SFI 20. Our racing shoes are SFI 20. We also wear head sock, helmet skirt, the hybrid or Hans. We have hybrids. And then we have the 12 points of restraint. So we have our arm restraints, the regular belts, and then we have the chin strap and all that stuff. So definitely safety is the number one priority. And I'm so glad to be wearing all of the Simpson and Stilo gear because it keeps me safe.
Miss Larson, speaking of safety equipment and stuff, do y'all have like a certain type of firewall that y'all have to run between the cockpit of the dragster and the engine?
No, not really. Just because the engine needs the air to breathe, so there is like the seat, and then there's a lot of foam integration around the driver to keep them safe. So what we do with like a girl like Josette, we take her measurements, we get her in all of her gear, we set her in the seat, and then we pour the seat mold. So we make sure that everything's safe around her. Now at Larson Motorsports, all of our cars, the fuel's in the back. So all of the jet fuel's in the back by the engine. So that in case of any accident or incident, the fuel would be behind you, not in front of you or around you. So that's kind of good. So we have like fuel pads that are on the side, so that some of the jet cars actually have fuel that goes through the driver's compartment. We don't have that. And with jet engines, not saying it couldn't happen, but any catastrophic failure usually comes out the back, not the front at us. So,
Right.
but we teach our drivers how to egress out of a car as quickly as possible, and to make sure that they know what they're doing in the car.
So while we're on the talk of safety equipment and everything, Josette, what kind of steps did you have to take in order to kind of train yourself and get ready to get behind the driver's seat?
So for me, I was already used to being buckled into the car because a lot of Larson Motorsports, typically we get drivers that have no drag racing experience, which you think, why would you do that? Well, because of my past drag racing experience, it actually kind of handicapped me because I already had a way of doing everything with buttons and steering wheel placement and where the levers are, especially since I drove a dragster previously. So the only way the past experience helped me was actually just knowing where I was on the track. Past that, I actually had to kind of retrain my brain to do different things with buttons and stuff like that, because like in my dragster, this hand I would always just strike the button and then the car would go, and I would hold on tight and go. But with the jet, this is a fuel, so you have to press this button and not let go of it. So it only messed me up once or twice, but definitely just retraining your brain, and we go through repetition over and over again. So before we even go to the racetrack, we're sitting in the cars in a lane, just watching us, telling us, going through the steps, and then we'll roll them out into the parking lot, and we'll just start the cars in the parking lot and do the fire and the burner pops. And once we can show we can do everything like 4 or 5 times, then we'll go to the racetrack and everything starts over again. So it's all progressional. You're going to start going, to the 60 foot, and then you're going to go to 330, and then you're going to go to 660, all the way down the track until you get to the quarter mile. And that's with no afterburner. So once you can get all the way down to the quarter mile with no afterburner, which is half of our power, then we'll start lighting the afterburner, and again, just going slowly down the track. So yeah, that's it's a lot, but it's all in baby steps. So you're pretty ready once you go down the track all the way the first time in burner.
Okay.
Hey, we have a question real quick. We have Richard, and he wanted to ask: uh, Are any of these, races live streamed on Facebook? Is there a possibility of y'all's next event that may be live streamed on some kind of like Motor Mania or something like that, so people can watch it from home?
I don't know if the Quaker City race is going to be. We're going to be in Ohio this weekend. In fact, we're flying out. What time are we leaving, Josette?
5:15
5:15 a.m.
a.m.
So I don't know if this one's going to be, but I do think that there's a chance for Virginia for their Night of Fire. Virginia always puts on a really good show, and then the U.S. 131, the Northern Nationals, usually they have some type of live stream. So I'm going to tell you, I think that your best bet would be Virginia or US 131, the next couple of races. We got 3 races back to back to back, so I'm about ready to get my spankings. Josette's she's gonna beat me every time, so I gotta get my.
I might get beginner's luck.
Well, I know y'all travel at a lot of tracks and stuff, and of course, y'all come to the Gator Nationals at times. Is it possible that y'all will be at the Gator Nationals in 2023, or?
Crossing our fingers. Now we have Miss Jody at the helm at Gainesville. So she loves her some Larson Motorsports jet cars. So I'm thinking that there's a strong possibility. That would probably be my biggest dream, to see Josette go down her home track in a jet car. I don't want to be beside her. I just want to be watching her. I just want to have my eyes on my girl.
Yeah, it definitely would be. There's a lot of tracks out there that, are on the list to check off, but Gainesville Raceway, going down that track in a jet car would definitely be like the highlight of all time.
Hey, Chris actually has another question. He wants to know, what is the travel like in a jet racing compared to bracket racing?
I'm assuming that he means travel when it comes to like traveling to the racetracks. So for bracket racing, you can pick basically a home track, and then you'll just follow their schedule, and you'll just show up to that racetrack whenever the race is happening for the point series, and then everyone's typically, if they're running for the point series, they're going to keep showing up and making sure that they're staying up in points. And so it's really important to go to every race. Sometimes, like Gainesville, a couple years ago, they had it where you could miss 2 races and then they would just kind of throw those ones out. So that was nice, because if anybody had like weddings or they got sick or whatever it might be, it was nice because you had 2 that you could throw out. But with jet racing, we're like the booked-in show, so we're like the halftime performance for the Super Bowl, if you will. So we travel all over the country. As far out west, we've gone to Washington, and up north, we've gone all the way to Canada. Every year, our schedule changes, so we could pick and choose where we want to go. We don't have to follow a circuit like the Top Fuel drivers do. So that's the beauty in it. Ohio actually is a really big race for House of Color, because that's where our headquarters is located. So we strategically place our races throughout the country. And sometimes, like, we're going to Louisiana. Sometimes it's just because we want to go to Louisiana and have crawfish. So that's the real beauty of being able to pick where we race and what our circuit and what our point series looks like. So we're racing to win, just so y'all know.
Got another question here by Dwayne, and he wants to know, how does jet cars differ from other dragsters you have driven?
So hello, Dwayne. So he's actually my co-driver. So when I'm not driving the House of Color car, he's driving it. So he's like, come on, girl, get out of my seat. So how does it differ? Well, vastly. My feet do totally different things. My hands do totally different things. There's really nothing that you can't compare them. The way the car drives is totally different. With all of the cars I've driven, the Junior, my street car, and the Dragster I drove, they're a little more. The only way to describe it is they're a little more violent. It's not really violent, but the ride is a little rougher. Even though it's really not that rough. But when you compare it to the jet car is so smooth. It's like a giant skateboard just being pushed down the track. So it's a nice smooth ride. My feet, I have brake pedals on the inside. So one's my rear brakes and one's my front brakes. And then I have two more pedals. Those are just for me to rest my feet, to brace myself for the parachutes, because we only stop with parachutes. And then those are there just to overcome human nature. So with jet cars, the number one rule is no brakes, no brakes, no brakes. The reason for that is if we were to hit our brakes, it would lock up our wheels and we would flat spot the tires and we will wreck. So that's why it's the number one rule is no brakes. And then my hands are doing totally different things. With my car, I only had to pull my parachute one time, and that was just because my throttle got stuck and I was turning everything off and pulling the parachute. And with the jet car, you have to pull the parachute every time, and you have to reach up for your reserve and pull that one in case you need that one too. And then this hand is, so with my steering wheel and my dragster, I have it to where I could hold it straight. With the dragster, you drive one-handed and you're kind of like just cruising on it. You're holding it at a diagonal. This finger strikes the afterburner ignition switch. This finger is the fuel button, like I said, and then we're holding two levers. So one is the throttle and then the other one is the parachute. So no matter when you turn the car off, you're going to pull your parachute and turn the car off simultaneously.
Alexa, you got a question?
So growing up, I probably watched Elaine Larson so many times growing up because my dad would race in 95 at Orlando, and I know he probably thought I was there to watch him, but I was really just there for the jet cars. I would be so excited for the jet cars. But when you guys were going, compared to regular bracket cars and regular dragsters, it takes so long for you guys to warm up and get staged and everything. What is the difference, maybe, Josette, between bracket car getting set up and staged and the burnout and everything versus the jet dragster? Because I know we're all sitting there, all the kids are sitting there for like minutes, it feels like, waiting for the car to get fired up. The ground's rattling and we're just waiting.
It's about building anticipation. So it's very procedural, and it's kind of like flying an airplane. You have your checklist. You do 1, 2, 3, 4, and you never get out of sequence. And it's about putting on the best show we can. And we absolutely love now. Josette's home track is Gainesville. My home track's Orlando. That's the first place I ever went down in my bracket car. I had a 75 Chevy Vega that I used to race. But for us, we could actually start our cars and shoot them down the track. We wouldn't have to do any of the smoke and the fire, the burner, anything. But what fun is that? I mean, Joe, what is your favorite thing? Is it fire, burner pops, or the launch? Which one's your favorite?
It's definitely the burner pop competition because you can hear the other car. So you're going, and then you hear them, and you're like, oh, and then it just gets faster and faster and faster. So that's really exciting. And then, of course, the ride down the track is super.
We like popcorn. How many times we can hit it in progression and see how many people. And I'm going to tell you, the one thing that right now Josette's just focused on her finish line, which is what she's supposed to do. But I cannot wait for the moment when she can look up and look left and look right and see where she's at and see what she's done. This woman has more perseverance than anyone I know. This girl is like, she's in it for the long haul. I want her to be able to sit into the car just one day, look around and say, I did it. I'm here. I've gotten here, and appreciate the fans that have come to see her do her job. And when that job's done, then it means this girl can get out and she can get in and everything is good.
We do have a quick question. John was wanting to know, is the Quaker City race this weekend in Salem, Ohio, or Quaker City, PA? When you asked us to come out, I thought you were going to PA.
I think they're your buddies, Josette. Yeah. Are you in trouble?
So, hello. I believe that I know exactly. I think that's Angie's husband. So, if you're not, I'm sorry, I don't know who you are.
We don't know Angie.
But anyway, so Salem, Ohio is where it's going to be at Quaker City Motorsports Park this Saturday, July 23rd. So, be there. Bring your wife. I want to see her. I love them.
Andrew, he wants to know, what was it like for you when adding the afterburner for the first time during your training?
Well, it was definitely, you could tell a clear difference between no afterburner and lighting the afterburner. And, Elaine was telling us while we are licensing, once you light the afterburner, you're not going to want to go back to no afterburner because it's a smooth ride when the afterburner's lit, and it seems just a little rougher when the afterburner's not lit. So, it was incredible lighting the afterburner for the first time, and it was definitely an experience that I'll always remember and hold close to my heart because, there's nothing like the first time, and it's just, there's nothing like it. Jet racing is definitely amazing.
Chris wanted to know, is it hard to see at the speeds that you're racing? And most of the time, your runs at night, is it hard to see at night?
Just close your eyes.
So it's not hard to see. You do kind of get a little tunnel vision because we are approaching speeds of 280 miles per hour. So the further and further you get down the track, it's going whoop. But if we're at a good track, they have their lights on, and we're looking for whatever cues it might be. And when we first go to a racetrack, before we even take the cars down the track, like on Friday when we show up to Quaker City, we're all the crew chiefs and the drivers will all go down the track. We'll look at where the scoreboards are in relation to where the finish line is so that we know, if you go to the scoreboards, the finish line was back there, so you should have already turned off, so that we have that awareness beforehand. We'll also determine if it's a left-hand turn-off, right-hand turn-off, and then we'll kind of assess the bottom to see what the trap down at the bottom looks like, and then make a plan for the what ifs. So we assess everything as much as possible for all of the scenarios.
So y'all look at the shutdown area, how much length that y'all have for the shutdown area. If it's a really short shutdown, do y'all tend to cut the cars off a little early to give you more time to slow down?
Yeah, that's usually what we do. We'll either shut the car off early or we'll just plan to double shoot it, pull both shoots. I never like to pull my reserve unless I need it. I'm just superstitious that way. I think that should stay in the can until she's definitely needed. But I always tell people they always want to know what what speeds we're gonna hit that night. And I say I run the track, I don't run the race. So the track tells me what speeds we could run. If she's a little bumpier, I'll tell Josette to click her off a little early. If she's a little shorter, we click a little early. So safety is the number one most important thing. I always say shiny side up, and that's all I care about seeing. Parachutes and shiny side up, and make sure my girl's good.
So with that being said, what is the top speed that either of you have reached in the Jet Dragsters?
Quarter mile, I've been 296 at 5.26 seconds, but I had an opportunity to run on a runway, which was a fun time. I was at Oshkosh EAA. It was an air show, and I got up to 336 miles an hour, and that was totally by mistake. Trust me, I was not planning on it. I was just talking in my head and all whatever, but it sure was fun. But 296, and that's dang fast. JoJo, what have you done?
Houston, Texas, my very first official event. I went 277 miles per hour. And I think everyone was shocked how fast I went. And when I got out, I said, that seemed a lot faster than when I've gone. Because I think before that, the fastest I went was like 265. That, really was a big jump. I noticed a big difference.
John says that Angie is twisting his arm.
Woo! We got some swag for them, special for them.
Yeah.
If they say they're coming, are you ready for them?
I am ready for them. You guys need to come out.
Show them your shirt. Say,
oh yeah,
we have one of these.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Here's a question for you, Josette, and I think you know this person. Can you see the question?
Yeah. Well, Mom. So that was my mom asking that question. So she said, are the cockpit comparisons on jet cars similar to your dragster? No, not even a little bit. So my dragster, we painted like anything that we could paint on the inside. I have tons of gauges, tons of big red buttons everywhere, and the jet car is a lot simpler. So it's simpler by design because once you go faster, you don't have time to see all of the frills in the way. So we have a TAC and then an EGT, and those are the analog, I guess is what you call it, and so we can just quickly glance down and see where it's pointing, and all of them are placed on the same way on all of our cars. That way it's all uniform. It doesn't matter if the driver switches into a different car. All you have to do is glance down and you'll know what percent the engine's at and what the temperature of the engine's at. So it's really important not to have all the frill stuff, so when we look down we know exactly what's going on with the car.
Miss Larson, what are the major components of a jet dragster, and how do they work?
So, I mean, the car itself is very similar to like just a regular dragster from the driver's compartment forward. It has a lot of the same bars, a lot of the same driver's compartment, like the chromoly chassis in the driver's area is the same. Where it differs is from the driver's compartment back. So we don't want any flex in our cars when we're launching. The engine is actually set 1.5 degrees down to give us downforce going down the track. So it's actually trying to drive us into the track instead of rotating up and wanting us to fly. So the main component is the chassis is real stiff. The engine's set about 1.5 degrees down, and then obviously the jet fuel and things like that. But there's a lot of similarities, and in fact, some people have actually taken regular dragsters, not just sportsman level, but like top fuel dragsters, and made jet cars out of them and put a jet engine area in the back. It's a little clunky. I wouldn't suggest it, but it works, if it's something that you want to do. But I think that it's very simple until it's not. I say it's simple because I got Chris, the Tripman Jedi Master, that knows how to tune my engine. So that's why I married him. That's why I keep him around, right?
Alexa, get another question?
I think you've answered a lot of my questions.
I have a question. How fun is it to drive the dragster versus the truck and trailer?
Well, the truck and trailer can be very stressful sometimes. They took this Florida girl who has lived in Florida since her 4th birthday, so I don't remember Virginia. That's where I was born. And they were like, you know what? You've never driven on a mountain in your entire life, so how about we give you this truck and trailer and you just go ahead and drive on that mountain over there.
She took on Montego.
But I did it.
And up it and down it. Yep. So she did a pretty good job. So that's the difference. She's a real deal. I'm gonna give you just a second because Josette, I'm gonna show you some love. This girl is not only beautiful, not only is she talented driving a jet car, but dang oh dang, she is so ambitious. Like this girl just never stops. She has more energy than I will ever hope to have. The minute she gets into the shop, she looks left and she looks right and she says, okay, what am I going to do today? How can I make this place better? She is infectious. She is like, if I could have a daughter, she would be mine. I'm so proud of what she has achieved. I'm going to make her cry, Josette. I am so proud of what she's achieved, and I'm so proud of how she never backs down and she goes for her dreams. She is so ballsy, man. Her mom and dad raised a good girl, I love the girl to death, and I can't wait for these next 3 races where we get to play just a little bit.
Josette, and also Miss Larson, what does it feel like to have the kids run up to y'all at the track and want y'all's autographs? How rewarding does that feel for y'all?
For me, it's an incredible rewarding experience because I remember being them. One of the first races my dad took me to, there was a female motorcycle racer. I was really little, so I don't even remember who it was, but he said, "Go over there and get her autograph," and I was like, he was like, "Go over there and get her autograph." I was like, I never went to get her autograph. I don't know if my dad went and got it for me, but I remember being so shy that I didn't want to go see any of them, any of the racers. Like, it was just, I want to be you, but you're like a god. I can't go over there and talk to you. I'm not worthy. But and then when I started going to the Gator Nationals and we started talking to other racers, other professional racers, it's like, how do I become you? How do I be you? So, from the moment that I had raced and met a couple of the professional drivers, and we actually asked Pony Schumacher, we were like, so what's your real job? He was like, this is my real job. And we were like, no, like, what's your real job? And he was like, this is my real job. And so it's like, well, how do I make that my real job? We didn't know what it all entailed into his job. And, the jet racing aspect is only, 5% of one day, not even the whole 365 days that I work at Larson Motorsports. So, it's really rewarding that these girls and boys look up to me, and I remember being them, and I have to keep myself, in check to make sure that I'm living up to what they see, and it's a lot of pressure because you don't want to let them down, but you also want them to know that if they dream big and if they work hard, anything that they want to be in life, they can be an astronaut, race car driver, doctor, whatever they want to be, just go for it. That's, don't shoot for the stars, shoot beyond them, because, the world's your oyster. Just go for it. Work hard and things can happen. They happened for me.
I think my favorite is when these little kids that just come up. I have one story that's probably my favorite story of all of my racing career. We were in Louisiana, and I was in the car, and I'm like, okay, it's hot, I'm sweaty, blah, blah, blah. I look up, and there's these three little boys that had Elaine, Elaine, taped to their little chests on their shirts. They're like, oh, Elaine. I'm thinking, holy cow. But, it comes with great responsibility, and I think that, like, Josette takes it so serious. Not only is she a great role model in the race car, but she's a great role model when you see her at the grocery store. She's a great role model when you look at her on social media, because she is the real deal. And to be able to put someone like that in the driver's seat and to be able to show the world, that with hard work and determination, you can be a Josette Roach.
When you was talking about going up and getting that motorcycle driver or rider's autograph, I said, well, it could be only two females. It would be either Angel Sampay or it would be Karen Stouffer. And so your dad actually wrote and said it was Angel. That's who he tried to get you to go up.
When I see her now, when I'm older, I'm like,
I
think that's the lady that I saw.
Yeah. And she's still doing it, and she is very competitive. She's already got her a win on the year, and she is a super nice lady. She really is. I've known her for quite some time. Couldn't meet most of the drivers out there in professional categories. They are some of the most down-to-earth people. They're just like you and me and everybody else. And it's, racing's very important to them. They know that, they could be on the track today and they may not have a sponsor come the next race if it's, a lower budget team, and they could be out. So I'm glad that they are that way. You also, Josette, your dad wanted to know, and this is kind of funny, but are you as hard on your crew chief as you were on me?
Well, my crew chief is new still. So I actually I have two crew chiefs. So my main crew chief is Mark Bassapolo. This is also his first year being crew chief. So we're the like true rookie team. And then when Mark, because he has a full-time job over in Tampa, when he can't go racing with me, I have Mike Mathis, and he's a veteran crew chief. And, you know, Dad, you just didn't listen. And these people listen. When I tell them something's wrong, they listen and they look at it. You know, I had to actually pull the header off and, you know, the valve cover and say, look, it's broken. I love you, Dad.
Hey, I wanted to flash up some pictures as well that you sent to me. And, you know, this is one of the most important things that I think racers are to do. And, you know, we were talking about it, is take up time with these kids and be a great mentor to them.
Ooh. And I could just see when they look at me that they're like, I could be you one day. So I gotta live up to that, you know, and make them proud, make them dream big.
Tell us a little bit about this photo.
So that is at Atco Dragway. That beautiful woman standing there, that's Janet. She works for House of Color. She is actually one of the few female reps out there. So this was her event, and we put on a good show for her. Actually driving the car there is Dwayne. So yeah, it was me and Elaine, we had a blast that race. We were in the backs of the trucks going, woo! And then the crowd would go, woo! I mean, that was definitely a highlight of that race, because you could see the stands there were packed. So this is the Night of Thrills. And my favorite race of all time, just the whole vibe of this race is amazing, because they have monster trucks and they have a stunt driver, they have BMX bikes doing flips and stuff, and then of course they have all of the jets. It's really an incredible event, and I hope I get the opportunity to run it one of these coming years.
Oh, that's you, girl.
Woo, that's me.
And of course, man, I really like this shot right here.
This was the first time that we started the car after it got that beautiful House of Color paint on it. So we had to do a photo shoot, you know, to remember the moment.
Well, I just wanted to say that growing up, or more so when I was in like middle school and high school, I've always followed you, Josette, on Instagram, and I always thought, wow, she has a junior dragster, she has 2 Mustangs, she has a dragster. I'm like, and I'm just hoping one day my grandpa would let me drive his Camaro, which I'm in now, but you have so many cars, and now you're driving a jet dragster. Just looking up to you, because I'm like, I want to have my own race car, and you have all these cars. So I just wanted to let you know that I've always looked up to you too.
Oh, thank you. And I love that you and your sister both race now. I saw that. Happy birthday, late birthday to your sister. But yeah, no, you should come down to the shop and get a tour, and come check it out. And I'll give you a tour.
Awesome.
Meet the whole
Yeah,
team,
but
whoever's
Alexa,
there,
you can be my friend,
check it
because
out.
Camaro. Okay, I have to fight with these Mustang girls that are here. They're all hard. I'm a bow tie.
I know.
Camaro, Corvette, you know, and it's a battle line. I mean, I'm fighting for Team Chevy, okay?
You know, my boyfriend drives a Mustang, and I'm just like, no, we can't be together. Like,
Yeah.
And I drive the best one of them all.
No.
Mopar or no car.
There you go.
He's not telling you, though, he used to be a Mustang driver.
Hey, I did. I owned a Mustang, and before that, I raced a '97 Mercury Cougar. Sure did. I drag the long body style one. I used to drag race it. One of the things that I see y'all doing a lot at Larson Motorsports is that y'all take a lot of time and go to high schools here in the state of Florida. Now, if a school wanted to reach out to you, say, for instance, Bradford High School up here in Stark, or Mendez, where Alexa went to there in St. Augustine, how would they get a hold of y'all and try to work something out?
It's you.
Okay. I was like, are you taking it? No, so you can actually go on blazingtrails.info and check out all kinds of stuff that we have out there. That's where you could reach out to us. You could also reach out to us on any of our social media. So you could reach out to myself on my social media at Josette2387. And really, Larson Motorsports, any of those social medias, you could go to lmsjets.com, send a message there. Really, all of those places, but the best place to go would be blazingtrails.info. And really, when we come out to the high schools, it depends on what that school's looking for, because we've gone to the actual schools before. We've brought students out to the racetrack, and that's awesome because we've done up to 1,500 kids before at the racetrack, and then we can also bring you to our shop if you're closer, or if you guys want to like take a day out of it. And then we also have a virtual component as well. So COVID kind of started this whole virtual aspect with us where we can take you through everything we would take you through in person. And so definitely blazingtrails.info has a lot of fun stuff on there, a lot of videos where you can download worksheets to do the worksheet as you are watching the video, and just all kinds of fun stuff. We're actually starting a mentorship program. So if we have any mentors or mentees that are watching and that want to be matched up with somebody, go to blazingtrails.info and sign up.
Yeah, Bradford County is pretty much like a rural area, and I think the best place if these schools wanted to do something, they could all get together, like Bradford, Baker, and Union, and set up something at Gainesville Raceway. That way, there's plenty enough of room for all those students to come out. And I'm not particularly about hitting as much as the kids that are in their senior class of high school, more for the freshmen and sophomore, because for Union and Bradford we have a vocational college here on school property, and that may be able to encourage kids to get into a trade, especially like in welding, because that's very important, the structure of the car, and try to aim that way. And I know Alexa, she would probably like to see the same thing for her automater that she went to there in St. Augustine. And maybe they can all just go to Gainesville Raceway and sit down on the bleachers and watch and be out in the pits. So I'll actually reach out to those school districts, Bradford and Union and Baker, and see if that's something that they would be interested in getting a hold of y'all and doing, and try to mentor these kids up. Kids are getting to the point they only want to hold a game controller in their hands. I've got a teenager, and that basically all he wants to do all the time. And we've got to try to find some way of getting kids off of those games. Not saying playing games ain't bad, but we need to get them off of those games and get them interested in something where they can work with their hands and make something. Because they're not going to make no money playing a video game. It's just not going to happen. So I'm glad that y'all do that for a lot of area schools in the state of Florida.
So we actually go all over the nation with this program as well. So if there's anybody else out there, we go to US 131 every year, and we hold a Blazing Trails event there the day before the race. And the whole county has all of their, I think they're middle schoolers, right? Or it just depends on the year, right? So they come out and we take them through the science of a jet dragster. They learn about all of the STEAM careers: science, technology, engineering, arts, and math careers that are involved with motorsports. And we just kind of want to spark their imagination and make them think of all the possibilities that are out there. And so that maybe they'll think of anything. It might be usually they'll think driver and crew chief when they think racing. They don't think about the welder. They don't think about all the fabrication, the engineering. We even have digital design now at our shop. So we digitally model and design our cars before we even build them. There's a lot of different career aspects, plus the business and marketing, which is what me and Elaine, we're on that side. And finance, we need lawyers, we need doctors to take care of our whole team. So there's a lot of career opportunities out there in motorsports.
Exactly, and we have talked about it before on several other shows. Me and Alexa, when you look at motorsports, it's more than just the driver, that sits in that seat and steers the car down the track. There's so many different moving parts, and like you may find someone that may have a medical issue and they can't drive, but they love motorsports. You can say, hey, you can work on a dragster, you can be the bottom end guy, you can work on the superchargers, you can work on cylinder heads. I mean, there's so many different things that you can do. Oh, also, I wanted to. Chris had a question, and I was actually going to get to it as well. Can you tell us about? Do y'all have a routine that y'all have to, work out and stay in shape? Do y'all have that?
So we all have our different variations of working out. My boyfriend Josh, he's actually a bodybuilder, so it's also kind of nice to have a personal trainer in him. So I've learned how to really lift weights and do all kinds of stuff I'd never done before I met him. So I've really started to tone up. But now that I have a custom fire suit that's fit to my body and a custom seat, it's really kind of made it to where this is the size I have to be. I can't get any bigger, can't get any smaller.
I think everybody has their own routine, and I think more of it is food and nutrition. I don't know if you guys were watching NHRA. I can't remember which driver had. It was a top field dragster guy, and he got dehydrated and couldn't make his pass to get on the track. And I think it was Justin.
It was Justin Ashley.
Yeah. And so, the most important thing for not only driver but crew to stay hydrated. You forget about that because you're so laser focused on doing your job. You forget that you have to feed your body like you feed your car, and you have to tune your body like you tune your car. So, that's pretty much it's living more of a wholesome life, making sure you eat well, you work out, you do a few things, but just keep yourself sharp and on the ball.
One thing I can say about Justin Ashley, I'm glad that he noticed there was an issue and he took himself out of the car, because that could have became a really bad accident on the track. So a round of applause goes to him for, just saying, hey, there's something wrong. I don't need to make a pass down the track.
Nope, it's not worth it.
And I hate to say it, but there are some racers that would say, you know what, it's only, 1,000 feet. I can get down there, pull the chutes, and get out of my fire suit. I'm going to go ahead and try to make this pass.
Yep.
And then it can turn into something fatal. I got Jeff Gatlin here. He said her boyfriend took the interior out of his Mustang and tried to outrun her GTO. Is that true, Alexa?
Yeah, he took all of his seats out and everything just to try and be faster. But I'm sorry, Josette, he's in a Mustang. Sorry.
I've gone 12s in a stock. I think it was a 2015 Mustang before, but yeah, the other Mustangs that I had were pretty slow. But consistency is key. Okay, you don't need to be the fastest car in bracket racing. You just got to be the most consistent.
Well, this is my wife, and she says that I love my car more than I do her. Not true. Not true.
Smart man. Smart answer.
Hey, I got another Mopar fan out there. John.
Hey, there's two. No, just kidding.
No, his truck is sweet.
I'm sure it is. No, my son's a big Mopar fan, man. So we have battling on our Ford grunts here. The husband's a Ford guy. He has a 32 Ford Disc Coupe that we met in. His son is a Mopar guy, and I'm a Chevy girl. So there's no peace.
And they surround themselves with Mustang drivers.
I know.
You know, Chris, he wants y'all to explain what will people expect if they come and tour y'all's business, y'all's shop at Larson Motorsports.
Okay. So the first thing you do when you walk through the doors is you'll be greeted by myself. My desk is right at the front door so that I can make sure that I'm watching everybody. So then we'll start a tour, and we have a huge NASA display. So we have the lower Earth orbit display from NASA, and that's because Blazing Trails has a partnership with NASA Hunch, and so that's something cool that the kids get to come through, and it gets them excited about all of the careers that they could have in the space industry as well. And so you'll see a lot of what our interns are working on. We have turbine engine test platforms. We have that digital design project with Siemens and Northrop that we've been working on, and now we're actually going to build the car that the students designed, so that's pretty awesome. You'll also see all of our friendly faces. You'll see Elaine and Chris, Brian and Logan. We're all the full-time people, and then if you come during a school semester, you'll see a lot of our interns, and you'll get to see what they're working on and hear from them, and all about their internship, what they're working on. So everything they do is real. We don't have them do any fluff work. They're really working on the cars. They're really building engines and putting engines together and working on real projects. So it's a lot of fun, and they sometimes they've come in with no welding experience, and when they leave us, they know how to weld. So I've welded a couple of things in the shop, and you always remember your first weld. So if you come and visit the shop, I'll show you where my first weld is.
I tell you what, us with On the Spot Motorsports, we would love to come down there and take a tour, and if it's allowed, some cameras and take some videos and stuff like that. We would really enjoy to do that.
We would love to have you guys come out. Yeah, bring everybody. Alexa, bring your whole family. Mitchell, bring your whole family. Bring them all out. I'd like to see you guys all again.
Well, my little one, he'll be asking you questions all day long, because out of all three of my kids, he's the only one that loves drag racing, so he would probably drive you crazy asking you questions. Oh, this was sent by your mom, Josette. Says your dad purchased another Mustang, an orange convertible.
Yeah, he asked me when we're trading, so I think he only bought it because it matches the House of Color car, and he thinks that I'll get rid of the yellow one for it, but I don't want a convertible, so he can keep it.
My wife says she drives a Ford.
Team Ford.
Andrew wants to know, when interns travel to the races, what is it like rotating a different crew each race?
Okay, so this year has been a little different than what we've done in past years, because we have so many new drivers like myself, and then we have Zach Costello and Logan Ashline. We're switching our positions around a lot of the races. So I think I have like 9 races or something, and we have a total of like 16 races. So Dwayne gets the other races for our car, and then our crew chiefs, like I said, they switch out. So I mainly have Mark, and then Dwayne mainly has Mike, but we also switch, and I'll have Mike and he'll have Mark. And same with Elaine. Elaine is only driving so many races, and then Zach drives the other ones. And then there's 2 crew chiefs on that team as well. Zach's doubling as a crew chief, and then Logan's Elaine's primary crew chief for the year too. So we get used to it, and we're able to like adapt, and it's been really interesting and really fun, especially when me and Elaine at ATCO, like I said, that was the first time we'd been out of the cars together, and it was an absolute blast. Because usually I'm like trying to get the crowd to like do something, and I'm like jumping up and down, and they're like, woo! But then because there was two of us, they were very motivated to just keep yelling. And we were like, Team House of Color, Team Ford Tech. And they were just going.
Well, but I think with the interns, it gives them a more of why they're doing what they do. And so, like Andrew, who asked the question, he may be building something in the back and he may never see what that piece goes on or see that piece in action. And I think bringing the kids to the track, having them see that there's a human life attached to it, to see the why that they're working so hard and putting so many hours in, I think that's really important. So we always encourage all of our interns to come out to the racetrack. Some of them have no interest in drag racing until we take them the first time, and then they're hooked. Andrew loves putting people on the starting line. No, he doesn't. It's a stressful position. But I think it's fun, and they take this serious. There's a human life in that car every single time we go out to the track, and they know that if they sign something off a checklist, that better be perfect and it better be done right, and there can be no give backsies. You can't say, oops, sorry. No, it has to be perfect. And those are the kind of kids that you want to hire in your business. We actually have 100% placement of our interns into industry. So from aerospace, mechanical, biomedical engineer, human factors, a little bit of everything. All of our kids get placed into jobs because of their experience with Larson Motorsports and because they're just awesome kids.
Chris had a question. He was talking about, is jet racing about where it needs to be? What would you like to see in the future of jet racing? And I guess what it would look like 5 years from now and beyond. One thing, I like to ask, and if it's ever been done, but I think it would be a great thing if it hasn't. Has there ever been 4 jet cars on the track, say at Charlotte or Las Vegas?
Yep, I've been at Charlotte, I think 3 times for a wide, which has been fun. The one time that was almost overwhelming was I had all 4 of our cars, and I'm thinking, holy cow, this is a lot of money on the starting line at one time. It was overwhelming, but I do want to get my girl Josette, I want to get her up to Charlotte or to Vegas. I've never been to Vegas racing there, so yeah. I think jet racing has so much to offer. With the new blood that's coming in, like with my crew chief Logan, with Andrew Magnus, Brian Tachi, Zach Castello, all of the kids that come into the shop every single day, I think that they have a passion, and they have to find a place for this passion. And it makes me so sad when I see racetracks closing, because I know that that's not what we need. We need to have more racetracks. We need to have more events. We need to encourage the young people to get out there and take it to the track and not on the street. And we all know that. It just makes sense. But jet racing could be something amazing. We started our Festival of Fire, unfortunately, which is just an all jet car show. We started in March of 2020. Now, I don't know if you guys remember what March of 2020 was like, but it wasn't a very good time for us. It was when COVID started. So we had to come back and lick our wounds. But I'd like to see that coming back out because I love the jet show. I think jets are awesome. And how I put bread and butter on the table for the last 20 years, so I like them.
Well, you got someone here as a parent of a past intern. They learn so much, and the contributions tremendously. The team runs like a well-oiled machine at a race. I highly recommend a tour. Great job tonight, Josette.
Josette, tell them what Matt got to do. She worked as an intern for 4 years. He's a junior racer,
too. So that was Mac's mom. So she graduated, and as her, woohoo, you graduated, she got to start a jet car. So that was something that she was been looking forward to, and we gave her the opportunity, and she was super excited about it.
I got one more question, and Alexa, she can probably validate this, and as well as Josette. We all were bracket racers and stuff. Does the weather have any effects on the motor as far as the elevation, water grains? Does that stuff become a factor for the jet dragsters as well as it does for regular race cars?
Yeah, especially elevation and then the temperature. When it gets really cold, we have a chance of compressor stalling our engines. When it gets really hot, then she wants to stall or screech. We have to change the tune-up up. For the most part, we run a weather station just like you guys do. It's the same thing. In fact, I think it's the same weather station I had when I was a bracket racer. Probably need to update that thing. But I think we have to take everything in account for it, because the thing is that these people have come for us to put on this show, and if we miss the tune-up, they miss their show. So our crew chiefs and director of operations Brian and the husband Chris, we got to hit it right every single time with no exceptions. And a lot of times we don't get qualifying hits. The first time we get on the track is for the show. So we got one shot and one shot only. So I'm proud to say that our guys and gals out there, they're top notch, and they get it most of the time, don't they, Josette?
Definitely.
I feel like I'm taking a lot of Alexa time away from her asking questions. Do you have one?
Oh no, I all my.
Okay, I got this is another question. Back in the days, they would set up match races, for funny cars and top fuel cars. Is that something that y'all would like to see start being set up for jet dragsters?
I like jets against jets. I'm not a real big fan of jets against piston engine cars, just because when we get going down the track, it's on or off for us. We can't pedal it. So it's not as safe for us to drive like a race up against a piston engine car. I did get a chance to race Jay Leno, and I gave him my Corvette to race, but that was just because that was Hollywood, and who wouldn't accept the challenge to race Jay Leno?
Right.
But to bracket race or to match race against other jets, anytime, anywhere, we got it, don't we, girl?
Yeah, that's what I was more or less insinuating
Yep.
on is, match racing jet cars with jet cars.
Yep.
And I like to see that. I think it'll bring a little bit of that old time feel of that type of racing going on, match racing going on, but the future of it with jet cars.
We need to get Miss Jody on the phone. Come on, let's hook Gainesville
Yeah.
up. Let's be a trendsetter. Let's not follow people. I think Gainesville needs to lead the way.
I've got a phone
Gainesville
number.
needs a night of
There
fire.
you
Woo!
I tell you what, it's been a great afternoon having y'all on and explaining everything, the ins and outs of driving these jet monsters down the track. And I tell you, I'm really looking forward to coming down there and seeing y'all shop and get some pics, and that way we can get them up on the Spot Motorsports Facebook page, and more people can get involved in watching it and being part of it. I did have one more question to ask. Oh yes, y'all have a partnership with Florida Tech.
Florida Institute of Technology. We're based out of Melbourne, Florida. It's Florida's STEM university, meaning that we really focus on science, technology, engineering, and math. We're based in the heart of Florida Space Coast. So like Big D, who had a question, he works for ULA. So we're help educating the future's rocket scientists. In fact, Mac is a rocket scientist, one of our interns. So that's the part that I love the most, is that we're taking the future and we're showing them, something that I love. They love rockets, I love race cars. So why don't we put them together?
Yeah, I think that's a really, really great thing that y'all have going on down there. And again, we would love to have y'all on later on if that's something that y'all would like to do as well. Just keep in mind, we do some live streaming. We live stream all the bracket races from Gainesville Raceway. So if y'all go to a track and they want to live stream, hey, give us a call and we can see if we can make it happen.
Sounds good.
All right. Do y'all have any questions for me or Alexa?
Nope.
No, we're just super proud to be able to be here. This is a great time for Josette to be able to shine. You need to follow my girl on all of her socials. She's got an Instagram handle. She's got a Facebook. Follow her on her journey to see where this crazy jet lag takes her, because I think the sky's the limit for my girl.
Oh, yeah, I've watched with
I love that, Alexa. You need to come out.
You
to
kind
the
of,
shop.
yeah.
Let's hang out.
All right. Well, we really do appreciate it. I think what Alexa was saying, that she's seen you, racing when you were real young and all the way up to now. It's
puts her
a little bit.
down one foot at a time.
I've gotten a little better at racing. The jet car, though, I'm still trying to figure out.
Yeah, but Josette still puts her fire suit on one pant leg at a time. She still gets in it. Her head still fits in that helmet. This is the most humble girl you'll ever want to meet. She just rocks on all aspects. I mean, she's the total package, and I know I keep saying how proud I am of her, but I'm so proud of her. She has just never let go. When she got her teeth into something, she was like that little gnat. She wasn't going to let go. She's like, I'm just stay here. So I can't wait to see what she achieves, and if she wants to buy Larson Motorsports, show me some money, girl.
Oh, Chris has actually got a question for Alexa.
Oh.
He would like to know, what are your goals for racing?
Want to drive a jet car?
Yes. I love. So right was getting a lot of sponsors. My dad for our racing. Biggest race that I will put big top.
You're cutting in and out just a little bit.
Am I? Can you hear me now? My head, it came out.
Okay.
I put the top back on.
You know what I heard? She wants to drive a jet car. Fun.
Yeah.
Just be the gnat. Just keep coming. Just keep coming to the shop. To 2 hours from St. Augustine. Mm-hmm. I did that drive.
I could do that. Can you?
10 out of 10 recommend.
Well, we really do appreciate y'all taking y'all's time out of y'all's busy schedule to join us tonight. And, this show is designed to give racers the opportunities that they don't normally get to speak on TV or, the pro drivers on the FS1. And we're great for y'all to be part of it. And we'll look toward the future of having y'all back on again.
Sounds good. Thank you so much for this opportunity. It really meant a lot that you guys reached out, and I was so excited to talk to you both, because I know you both, and I come from Gainesville, and it's great memories, and I can't wait to get back out to that track.
Well, it's always there, so. Well, y'all take care.
See ya.
See you guys.
Bye.
Man, what a great show tonight, Alexa.
I agree.
I tell you what, I think I may want to crawl into one of those jet dragsters and just run it down the track just one time.
Me too.
Just once. And I just wanted to play the video one more time for everyone in case some people came in late, so they can actually see what goes on. And that was it. Also, just real brief, we're going to have another guest coming on next Thursday. We're going to move our show to Thursday nights instead of Wednesday nights. That way, if people are getting out of church, they don't have to try to rush to join in and watch the show. We're going to have a gentleman named Jason Garver. He has been tearing the tracks up here in Northeast Florida, and we're going to talk about dirt track racing next Thursday night at 7 o'clock Eastern Standard Time. And don't forget, next race for Gainesville Raceway will be on July the 30th. The track will go hot at 10 o'clock, and we will be live streaming that as well. So, again, from me and Alexa, thank you for joining us, and we will see you next week.